Okay, let's call this meeting to order. If everyone's good, let's stand and say the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll read the agenda. Comments from the public, roll call, discussion of corrections of the April 9th, 2026 regular meeting, treasurer's report, comments from elected officials, old business, there is none, new business. Leslie Bellamy, Vote Center. Number 2, resolution, county credit card, district court, Judge Alex Bigger. Number 3, ordinance, library, extra part-time position, Brent Davis. Number 4, ordinance, conducting business with Elizabeth Fowler. Number 5, 2025 asset list, county clerk's asset list, comp plan, and adjournment. Is there any comments from the public at this time?
No more. My name is Karen Ward.
It's working, it's on.
And I'm the wife of James Ward. That's how they always used to refer to me in the paper. Yeah, I haven't spoken to this Quorum Court in 10 years. Stood divorce, you may remember when I would come to speak to the Quorum Court. But I have a couple of questions I want to answer. We have an ordinance there about the voting centers, or I can't remember voting centers, but contracting election workers, and then you get into, you talk about the ballot, and, I mean, y'all understand what I'm talking about, y'all read it. But anyway, what I want to make sure is that this ordinance is not overriding state law, where that when they post the list of the co-workers, that if I or any other citizen wants to file a rejection, that can still happen.
Yes, this ordinance, to my understanding, and I may be able to answer that, but to my understanding, it allows her to work as a janitor, but she does cleaning in the courthouse.
Well, I mean, I wasn't even referring to her. I'm just talking about the way it reads, I've sent it to Secretary of State, the AG, and SBC to see if they can clarify the wording to me. And I get nothing back from them because I didn't open up my package to read all this until late last night. That I'm just trying to make sure that when they put the co-workers list in the county clerk's office, that if somebody's on there that a citizen wants to file an objection to the board, election board, that we can still do that. I mean, Ryan.
I don't see any reason that you couldn't.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'm not following the question entirely, but absolutely, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to still make an objection, formal objection to the state.
Well, I would go to your local election board.
I maybe I misheard what you said then.
Yeah, because the state and local on co-workers. The objection still be filed if somebody, me or anybody else finds there's a worker that's going to be working on file an objection, you can still file an objection on it.
I believe that.
And then I know I don't know if it was 2015, 2016, but I was reading this, I think it refers to Rhonda's office. Y'all had the court order or something about a server and 2 computers. I don't know if Doris remembers, but we had the collector had to come into the Quorum Court and had to tell why we was destroying this server and what happened to the equipment and why. And so when I read that, I don't know what happened to the server and what happened to the 2 computers. I mean, because, I said in there, it was either 15 or 16, and Norman Pickett had to tell when they destroyed that, why, and get approval from the Quorum Court to be able to do that.
We are going to go over that.
Oh, you want to go there, so can't elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, I mean.
Then you're going to go over one. Well, no, not right now. I mean, you can do it during the meeting. That doesn't matter. So, I guess that's all I want to say. Just as long as I have it on record that they're saying that if there's a worker, co-worker listed,
Now,
election worker.
understand, filing an objection doesn't mean that it will be, you can file an objection to anything, but if there's nothing
Valid.
reasonably objectable is found, just because you file an objection to a particular poll worker doesn't mean that they will not be a poll worker. It just means that you have, and it will be.
We've fallen on what that law says.
Right.
Why
I understand that. You have, everybody has that right, you can object to anything.
Yeah, not that I was willing.
That doesn't, I can object to a lot of things, Doris, and I object to each other quite a bit. That doesn't mean we get our way.
Yeah, that is.
Just because you file an objection to something doesn't mean that will be carried out as, but it will be looked at, it will be looked into. Yes, but it will be looked into as to why this person is filing an objection. Let's look at all the
Have you
circumstances.
ever read trying to file an objection against a co-worker? Have you ever read that law? And if
I'm
you read
typically
the law.
deaf people volunteer to be poll workers. So, no, I've never filed an objection.
No,
to a poll
I said,
worker.
do you know why?
I work 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. I can't be a poll worker.
Well,
I'm glad that
that's-
there are people who are poll workers. I've never objected to anybody being a poll worker.
Okay, I believe 3 minutes is up.
Okay, thank you for it, and I'll be back next month.
Thank you. Is there any more comments from the public?
I'm Kara Bryant, your election commission chair, and got something that I feel needs to be brought to your attention. Justices, you have in front of you an email where I requested a copy of a charge that had been placed against me as an election commissioner. As you know, in the past, there have been charges placed against us. And every time that happens, we do not want you to be blindsided by your constituency if they have a question about this. So this is a copy of the complaint that was made against me. It was false, and it has been dismissed by the State Board of Election Commissioners. So I got this since the last Quorum Court meeting, so I didn't have an opportunity to get on the agenda and let you know that there was an issue raised, but it has been dismissed by the State Board of Election Commissioners. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Karen, for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Any more comments from the public at this time? If not, we'll move on to roll call, please.
Justice Bass.
Here.
Justice Brown.
Here.
Justice Stewart.
Here.
Justice Cosby.
Here.
Justice Blevins.
Here.
Justice Nelson.
Here.
Justice Sharp. Here. Justice Statler.
Here.
Justice Henderson.
Here.
Next up is discussion or correction of the April 9th, 2026 regular meeting. Any questions? Comments? If none, I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Have a motion from Justice Brown to adopt and a second from Justice Blevins. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Next is the treasurer's report.
Good evening. You've been given the treasurer's report for April 2026 financial operations. On the front page, you can see the total funds under management is $6,286,994.05. On page 2, the total 2026 budget appropriation is $13,172,818.09. The 2026 budget at the end of April has a remaining balance of 67.60% for all office budgets combined. The normal at this time would be 66.67%. For April, we have the 6 funds represented there. We have County General, 66% remaining, roads, 74.11% remaining, county library, 73.70% remaining, solid waste, 26% remaining, law enforcement center, 71.87% remaining, and E911, 68.59% remaining. Total projected revenue for 2026 as of the end of April is $20,055,392.56. You have projected revenue for several funds represented there, and everything is above projected. The actuals are above projected except for sales tax, and I did not adjust it because it's actually pretty close, and I wanted you to see the actual, what was projected and what was actually received in sales tax. It's been, the first 4 months, it's been above projections 2 months, and it's been below 2 months. So sales tax just, it's sort of up and down little hills, depending on how many rebates people file for and sales activity and stuff like that. I don't see any alarms on the sales tax trend at this point in the year.
What about E911? Why is it 18.66? It's usually pretty low.
I believe we made a transfer in there.
Well, it was that way last month. I don't know if it was that high last month, but it was.
I don't have last month's report with me.
I mean, that's good. Is
We transferred in January, we transferred $152,500 from county general, from the general fund into there. And that was for the whole year. You know, we just transferred it in January.
I know it's been short the last couple of years.
Right.
You know, it's the first bit up, I just kind of wondered.
Right. If that was the adjustment that was needed, or the transfer that was needed for their budget, and it was transferred in January.
Any more questions from the treasurer?
Make a motion to adopt.
Motion from Justice Stafford to adopt.
Awesome.
Second from Justice Brown. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next is comments from elected officials.
I asked you just before about the elevator, how are you looking on that, you think you're,
I believe they're on schedule. Getting the actual elevator in is going to be the holdup. They haven't given us a date, complete date on that. But initially, they said that they would have it done by the end of June. But hopefully, they stay on track with that. We did spend all of our money that we had appropriated through the ARPA fund.
well, just go out there, we're not talking about anymore right now, maybe the next day or something, I don't care, it's here. Maybe update on any kind of grants, in the next month or two, or whatever, you know.
We've applied for all of that, and we're just waiting, it's the waiting game right now. There is an elevator grant, and I say elevator grant, it's funds that are toward the elevator, it's the governor's grant. It still has not been let. We're still waiting on the, and most of these will be let around the end of May, 1st of June normally. So, there are, I think, 3 active major grants that we're waiting to hear back on.
Any more questions?
I was just gonna say, this Sunday at 1 o'clock, we're gonna put the flags out on the courthouse lawn. And, anybody that wants to help with that, we'll take any help. It's a lot of bending over, so if you can't bend over, we got plenty of help. Don't feel like you have to. And then on Wednesday, May 27th, I think also at 1 o'clock, which is a Wednesday, we'll take them up, so they'll be out for 10 days. So, if anyone wants to help on either of those days, we'll take everybody. Able-bodied, everybody.
Sunday?
This Sunday, yeah, 1, and then Wednesday after Memorial Day.
Are there any more comments from elected officials?
That'll get on the agenda for the report, so that'll be next month. But when I went to the, I got the budget meeting on the agenda, but forgot that I needed to make a report, but I got it.
Are there any more comments? Not, we'll move on. Old business, there is none. New business. Leslie Bellman. What's your?
So Miss Leslie couldn't be here tonight. Her mother is undergoing a very serious procedure. And so we have Erin McNeil and Laura Wiles with us from the Arkansas Secretary of State. And they're going to talk to you just a little bit about vote centers and tell you what Randolph County is looking at, what we are hoping that can happen, and why it would be an advantage to us in the county.
So just really quick on what all vote centers, they're just a place where everyone can go vote. I mean, this is not a place you have to be in that precinct or in that district. Everyone in the county can go to a vote center. everyone, if you are a registered voter, you can vote in that vote center. 2015 is when the legislature passed a law for vote centers, I believe. And since then, 64 of the 75 counties are now vote centers. And not one has gone back to be just a polling station only kind of thing. That's just a short brief on it. It's very simple. I mean, the vote centers are just basically easier on the voter to go and vote. If you live up towards, what's a good town?
Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton, but you work at Pocahontas, when you drive down here for work, you can just stop by the Pocahontas vote center and then just go home. And you don't have to go to your precinct, like I said, your exact polling station. Laura, do you have anything else?
That's pretty much it. Voter, I worked in a county that was a vote center county before I came to the state. Voters really do like having vote centers because they can vote where it's most convenient for them. Sometimes your assigned polling place is not the most convenient location for you to go vote.
And if you're at work, if you work at one place, and you know, if you live near Sutton and you farm at O'Kane, it's hard to get back across that way to vote sometimes. And I realize we have early voting and some other things, but there are still people who feel like it's important to vote on election day. I know even our president has talked about going down to just day of voting. So if that's the case, this would help us even more to serve people where they are. In the packet, we had a court order back in 2014 where the state allows you to have a reduced number of polling sites for whatever reason. Maybe it's inclement weather, or maybe it's a special election, or whatever. So as long as it's not a called statewide election, we can use these. If we are a vote center and we go down to these polling sites, which would cut it approximately in half of what we have today, then this is already in place. Now, I'm not going to tell you that if a place isn't used, we might not lose it to attrition. So if among these, you've got folks that really want their polling site, they need to go vote there, still. But the truth is that even counties as large as Conway County, only has 5 vote centers.
And keep in mind, these ones that she has circled here, all of them have good internet, so we don't have to use the MiFi packs, and we don't have to rent them, turn them off, turn them on, and that's about $1,000.
There would be no fees for those locations that would no longer be used, so that's a savings. There would also be a savings marginal on poll workers, just because we probably would need, for volume's sake, to increase the poll workers at some of the new sites, but it's unlikely that we would use everyone. And I'm going to be honest with you. We had to hold 4 special trainings before this last election just to get enough bodies in the seats. Our poll worker population is dwindling because of several reasons. Number one, they're elderly. We lose them to health issues, we lose them to death. That's a terrible thing to say, but it happens. And most of our, median age folks, they work. Everybody works now. And then, your younger folks, sometimes it's hard to get them really invested in it until they get a little bit older, they pay taxes for a while, and they see how, contributing their vote matters. Sometimes it's hard to get them invested. So we really need to make the best use of the people we have. We felt like it was important to bring this to you as the board because you do approve our budgets and you do have some say in what we do, but we would like to make the transition prior to this fall's election to vote centers. And we're here to answer any questions you have regarding this, and hopefully, we can come to some consensus.
So the poll places are staying the same?
Yes.
So all your.
But there will be a reduced number. No, there will be a reduced number. This list here.
Oh, all of these.
These are the ones that will remain.
Okay.
And we do have, I want to make you aware, we do have one of the polling places that we want to still keep that is not currently ADA compliant. And we've spoken with the judge about this to see if there's a possible way that that can be brought into compliance. And it's right in Springs. We moved from the fire station because it was not ADA compliant to the church. The problem there is the connectivity issue. And they have a brand new, beautiful community center that we would love to use, but it does not have any paved parking or handicap spots. So what happened at O'Kane, back when we dealt with this, is the judge had some leftover asphalt. We spoke with the folks in O'Kane, and they made an agreement for one parking spot to be paved in order to get that in compliance with the ADA laws for a cul-de-sac. And that is what would have to happen, or something thereunto in Redmond Springs, if that was a possibility. If not, then either we would stay at the church and maybe that one place would have to have a modified parking, if they struggle even with that, or we might just have to cut that parking place out. And we don't want to do that. That is one we really do want to keep. So, just wanted to kind of let you know where we are, and again, we welcome questions.
You do not have a question. So, I know it was talked about several months ago, maybe a couple of years ago. I live in Dalton. Let's just say that at one time we were talking about, let's say I was serving at school in Maynard, and it was the day of the election. So I said, well, can I vote at Maynard, even though I live in Dalton?
You absolutely can.
Okay.
In fact, we were talking about this today. If you had 4 elections in 1 year, you could literally vote at 4 different locations and there would be no problem. And the reason you can do that is because the connectivity automatically updates those tablets and says, hey, this person has voted. So if you tried to go to a different location, it would simply show them that you've already voted and you just responded to voter. It's showing you've already voted, you won't be able to vote here.
Well, I know I had some people asking that question now. I can verify that, because as you know, a lot of our people are mobile in the county.
Right.
Going from one place to the next. If they had election day and they don't want to miss voting, then okay, I'll ask a $64 million question. How do we keep things like that being from breached, like discounted,
So the
that
election
sort of
equipment
thing?
is not on the internet. The only thing that she's talking about is the tablet that you sign in. It has to be connected to our state computer that we have so that it registers as you vote. Now, nothing else is hooked to internet, where you put your ballot in to vote. That's not hooked to internet. You go over and you put your ballot in for it to be counted. That is not hooked to internet. Only your tablet. That way we know whether you voted or not. That way it comes to the state computer and it lets us know. And that's how come something like this would work.
Go ahead.
Also, you would no longer have this person come in, think they're supposed to vote there, and then they're at the wrong polling site. But then you have to have a change of polling site form. So then you have to call the office, then the office calls the new polling site, then they have a form they have to fill out and take with them. And you have to get that voter to actually drive to the other polling site. And that in and of itself, you're at a 50% chance of whether that person's going to actually go to that next place to vote. This will allow you to just say, hey, you're registered to vote, you have an ID, this is the vote center, welcome.
I know when they have problems, and that's great, keeping in. We just hear horror stories across the country. Oh, we found a stack of ballots over here, or these haven't been turned in yet. And I know in the last election, things were coming very quickly, that sort of thing. But to me, that's very comforting if someone has not voted early, that they could be pretty much anywhere in the county, and they can still go vote, and their vote will be counted.
And literally, from the time they hit accept on that tablet, within seconds, it shows up in the county clerk's office on their computer system and on all of the tablets. That's why the connectivity was so important. It doesn't just go back to that, but it shows up in every tablet. Once it hits the main system, it sends a ping back out to all those tablets. Hey, Roy Cosby has voted, don't let him vote anywhere else.
Thank you for your answer.
That's a statewide thing too.
Right.
It's not like you can go to Lawrence County and vote and come over here to vote. If you vote, your name's in the system, it's in the registration system, you have credit.
You only have to have one parking spot.
Yes, that's all that's required. And we have a portable handicap sign that we set out for that back. So they don't even have to use it for handicap the rest of the year, but it does have to be connected, if it's a distance from the door, it would have to be connected by sidewalk, that's the only thing.
So first steps, is it not done early voting?
No, that's fine.
Early voting is kind of outside of this, because this is only talking about election day. Okay, we don't have to have you do anything about this, but we knew you probably would be hearing things from your constituents, maybe you have questions, and we wanted to make sure that you all are aware and hopefully on board, and we can do this year. The state really wants all of the counties to be vote centers, and we wanted to do it for years, but due to connectivity, we couldn't, and we feel like now, you know, there've been some extenders go on and things, and there's some better connectivity in the county, we've been doing it.
Couple of jobs.
So
I think y'all
thank you,
personally done a good job.
and thank you for your time, and if you have questions after this, I will be here, I think they might stick around for just a little bit, if it's not too long, because they go long drive back tonight. If you have questions, we will get them answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions about elections or anything else?
Yeah,
Thank you.
anyway, before we go.
Now,
Number 2, resolution, credit card for District Court Judge Alex Biggers. He said this afternoon, yesterday, he did not want to do it now. The state doing what he's doing. Number 3, ordinance, library extra part-time position in Davis.
No, she's out, she sent an email, yeah, she couldn't be here, she already had a pre.
but she sent an email explaining what she wanted to do to everybody, you know, felt everybody should know.
Yeah.
She's want to add another program position.
Yeah, she was just saying that they got a lot more programs now, and so they need another position to cover all that, and it's not gonna cost any more money, it's already in their budget, it's just gonna change from one line to a different line of pay for the salary.
First reading.
Motion from Justice Stabenow, take on first reading. Second, Justice Nelson. All those in favor say aye.
An appropriation ordinance to amend the 26 Randolph County Budget Ordinance 25/23, amendments to said ordinance for other purposes, be enacted by the Quorum Court of Randolph County, Arkansas, Article 1 affirmation. Court recognizes and affirms the 26 Randolph County budget needs to be amended to appropriate money for the Randolph County Library. A part-time employee is needed and will work 20 hours a week to help with programs, set up, create, clean up, and any other duties the library supervisor deems needed. Article 2, appropriation and amendment, that the appropriation for the library fund for the year 26 is hereby amended by adding the following. And again, under library fund, budget line for salary part-time, the amount is $15,076.80. For social security matching, it's $1,153.38. And for unemployment compensation, it's $14, making the total of all three $16,244.18. This amendment will increase the amount appropriated for the county library fund by $16,244.18, making the total county library fund appropriation $525,402.29. Article 3, legislative intent. It is the intent of the Randolph County Quorum Court that the appropriation contained in this ordinance is only a change or amendment to the 26 operating budget established by Randolph County Ordinance 25-23 and amendments to said ordinance. All other appropriations and policy statements of ordinance 25-23 shall remain in full force and effect. Article 4, effective date. The appropriation ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its passage and approval. Only has to be read one time, so there's discussion at the time.
Is there any discussion on this?
So we're just making money out of what our budget already is.
Yeah, that's what she said.
We're not making
She's,
nothing.
no, nothing extra, it's in her budget, it's just going from one line to another, so she can have an employee to cover all the programs she's got going.
Justice Statler, second from Justice Nelson. Get a roll call, please.
Justice Bass?
Yes.
Justice Brown?
Yes.
Justice Hibbert?
Yes.
Justice Cosby?
Yes.
Justice Blevins?
Yes.
Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Sharp? Justice Statler?
Yes.
Justice Henry?
Yes.
Number 4, ordinance conducting business with Elizabeth Ballard. So she, a poll worker, that's right.
Correct. Has been told over for several years, I believe.
But we also hired her to clean the courthouse. I really wasn't aware that she was told that they want to hire her to clean the courthouse, but the auditor said that we needed to, it would not hurt to have an ordinance that business with it.
Because her husband works for you. That's one of the words.
Well, and her being a poll worker.
Yeah.
Is she new to cleaning? Or is she new to cleaning, or
She's just this year, right?
Yeah, this year.
Yeah. Jan first last year, and she's been co-watching for a long time.
So we need to do this to basically get right and everything.
Abundance of caution. There's really no issue with it, but we've done this for every similar circumstance, so I think it's suggested that we continue to trend and do it on this one, even though I don't believe there's really a conflict.
well, we have it for like the coroner and the judge sort of thing.
Is she gonna be a poll worker now on, or?
It's not because they had trouble finding poll workers, so.
We have trouble finding poll
They
workers.
usually have trouble.
Yeah, they had a hard time with this last one. I know you guys kept asking.
We kept asking I mean, you know, and it's not that everybody works. I don't mean to disagree with you, Karen. It's not because everybody works, it's because nobody wants to work.
Well,
So,
it's one of the two. It's one of the two, you know, and this year, it was the biggest struggle we've ever had. We really thought we were going to have to postpone something. And we've never had to do that.
and if we get somebody that wants to work, I hate to tell them, no, we don't want you. We need you, but we don't want you. That doesn't make sense.
I think a lot of it too is people are scared of elections now that there's all this hype out there.
But if everybody would look at the numbers, there wouldn't be all that high.
I understand, I'm just saying, some people are just fearful of doing that now. It used to be that way, but now.
Is there any discussion?
Make sure to put it on first reading.
A motion from Justice Statler to put it on first reading. Second, Justice Blevins. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
An ordinance to permit the county to purchase election worker services from the contract provider to the county to declare unusual circumstance and the employee of election officials from this point forward and to declare an emergency. Article 1 affirmation comes before this court and is affirmed that it is in the best interest of the county to conduct county business with the county contract provider of services. It is furthermore affirmed that providing contract services to the county or immediate family relation to a county employee will not be a factor in choosing election officials unless that employee is on the ballot in a contested race. Article 2, circumstances defined. The court also defines as an unusual circumstance that Randolph County is a small Class 2 county, which means less than 20,000 in population. It's a county with multiple voting sites. It's the home of many longtime generational families where kinship runs deep, and the requisite number of election workers is difficult to obtain. Therefore, because of the sparseness of trained and willing persons to work as election officials on election days, the relationship as a contract provider to Randolph County or the relationship to a county official or county employee or official is on the ballot in a contested race. This provision currently applies to Elizabeth Ballard, who contracts with the county to provide custodial services. However, this provision is established as the ongoing policy of this county to apply to others in like circumstances in order to effectuate the ability of the county election commission to fully staff election operations. Article 3, legislative intent. It is the intent of this court that the legal premise of this ordinance be construed liberally to affect smooth county operations. Article 4, emergency clause. It is imperative for county operations to continue smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Therefore, an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be effective retroactive to or higher, which I think is June 1st, 2025.
Any discussions?
I'll make a motion to put it on second reading, title only.
I have a motion from Justice Brennan, put on second reading, title only, second from Justice Nelson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
An ordinance to permit the county to purchase election worker services from a contract provider to the county and to declare unusual circumstances in the employ of election officials from this point forward and to declare an emergency.
Any more discussion?
Third time.
Have a motion from Justice Nelson, put it on third reading, title only. And second from Justice Blevins. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
An ordinance to permit the county to purchase election worker services from a contract provider to the county and to declare unusual circumstances in the employ of election officials from this point forward and to declare an emergency.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance for hiring, for allowing her to work at the election. Also.
I have a motion from Justice Sharp to adopt, and a second from Justice Nelson. Can you do a roll call, please?
Justice Bass?
Yes.
Justice Brown?
Yes.
Justice Hibbert?
Yes.
Justice Cosby?
Yes.
Justice Blevins?
Yes.
Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Sharp?
Yes.
Justice Statler?
Yes.
Justice Hibbert?
Yes.
Number 5, 2025 asset list, county clerk, asset list.
Make a motion. Third reading.
I have a motion from Justice Statler to put on first reading.
Is it court order?
It is in big order. I think all we have to do is explain it.
Correct.
Thanks for that.
But it is in order.
Yes, it is.
I can. So back, a few years back, our server went out and Apprentice come and brought another server, and they left that server for a little bit, then they come back to do some more work, and they said, do you want us to take this old server, if y'all want to use it, we'll dispose of it for you. And so we all agreed, and we done the form, filled out the form and everything, and Rhonda and I signed it, both of us signed it, but somehow or another, I guess Rhonda didn't get a copy of it. It did not get taken off the asset list, but the new one got added. Well, the new one was added to my paperwork. So whenever they sent the asset list around this time, I knew I had a server. I didn't check the numbers on it because it's in the cage, and I don't have a key to the cage. It's down in the other office. I didn't think about getting a key. I just knew that I have a server. And so I signed it. So that server is the one that went to Apprentice that was junk. The new server was not on the asset list. So we've got all the paperwork that server was junk. We've got the letter from Apprentice, the destruction letter. We've got signed off on it from the guy from Apprentice that come up here that picked it up. And now we've got the new server on the asset list. Does that sound about right?
We also had 2 computers.
We had 2 computers, and the 2 computers, and this server and the 2 computers was what we got in 2014 when that new program with the apprentice program. We got them in 2014. They were paid for like, I think it started in 2015 when I came, And that's whenever I think we done a loan on that system that Lori and Bobby had brought to the Quorum Court. Do you remember? Anyway, so, there was 2 computers and the server. It was the original. Then, when I came, by the end of the year, we added 3 more computers, so everybody in the office would have a computer on this server. About 2020 or 2021, some of the computers started getting slow and they just weren't keeping up. So I had 3 of them that we sent with Blaine to get all the junk out of it. And we were gonna send them to the library. The library ended up taking 2 and one of them come back to us. According to the asset list, I still have one that the library said they destroyed. There's 2, that one of was on the asset list for the library as well as what I have. The other one, we do not know where it's at because we put all that stuff in the basement. And when we cleaned the basement out, everything went to the trash. So I talked to Blaine and asked him to give me how much this computer would be. And he said he would not value it more than at the most $20 because it's a 12-year-old computer. I honestly think that the one in my office and the one in the basement got the tags mixed up or something because I still have one and we had 2 in the basement. So I don't know. But we threw away, that was junk. Like Jennifer, I think you had like 5 or 6 computers in the basement that you could, a long
I
time
didn't have
ago.
any computers in the basement.
No, you had some computers in the basement. From years ago, I'm talking about 2020, 2021, when you got new computers. And I think we had about 15 monitors that was out, that went to the trash. What is it we had?
Apprentice takes my computers.
Well, I think you had 4, it was probably before you got Apprentice, I don't know.
We've had Apprentice since 1990 something.
All right, well, there was somebody had some computers there, might not be yours.
Yeah, don't say they're mine, I know they're not.
No, okay, that's fine. But there was, another office had some computers in there, and all that went to the junk. So the only one we can find is this one, and like I say, it's 12 years old, and it might be worth $20. But I still think it went with the other computer, and I still have one in the office. So,
So does each department take care of their own assets?
yes. We do, but then, the judge's office has a list of everybody's.
Is everything up to date now? Other than what's your,
Yes, I believe that everything's up to date. Other than, I mean, yeah.
We just needed to bring this to the court and explain what happened and why.
on the server here?
Well, we got the paperwork on the server. Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing we could find is this one computer. But I think that was what the auditor wanted us to get, something saying how much it was worth. But, like I say, I know that it was in the basement. But we don't have the paperwork. I think the paperwork got switched somehow. I'm not saying anything that people have done it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, I think, or either the wrong one got taken down to the basement. Something happened. But I don't think anybody would have wanted a 12-year-old computer, but, you know,
That didn't work.
that didn't work, so. But the auditors wanted us to let you know.
No, it's entirely your discretion. Just if you do it, you tell them.
The auditors wanted them to, they wanted it in the minutes of them approving this to go forward.
Approve it, make the finalized forward.
Yes, because it was, when it was found, when the items were not found, and then eventually the server was, and the 2 computers were still questionable of where they were at and stuff. So by the time he left, he said that we needed to run it on to Quorum Court, and they needed to approve, because that was going to, if it was not going to be, it was going to be a right for her office.
And I have some paperwork, and Rhonda has the paperwork for that server.
Yes,
We have everything, everything's covered.
As long as the auditors are ready. Do we need to make a motion to approve this court order?
You can. I just haven't have the authority to sign that order one way or the other. But if it's in the minutes, then it can project.
It needs to be in the minutes. The auditor wants it in the minutes. If he can just sign it, we're going to do
Motion to
that.
approve the court order.
We have a motion from Justice Brown to approve the court order. Second from Justice Blevins. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same sign. Next on the agenda is Coptown. Any questions?
I kind of have a question, yes. About the sheriff and the law enforcement one, does that seem more on track, do you know? 'Cause I thought there was a thing that you guys had talked about where he wasn't having comp time.
Doesn't this have their vacation in the though?
Well, just, I was looking at the accrued hours.
Sheriff has 31 hours approved.
And then the law enforcement one, I thought you guys had said he added a position so he didn't have comp time.
No, all of them. Every holiday.
Yeah.
Every holiday. they'll do it.
Just didn't know if it was keeping track of everything.
I think that it cut it way down.
That's when he added the chief deputy. That's when the city cut down.
Next, entertain motion to adjourn.
I'm like that.
Motion Justice Allen to adjourn. Second Justice Brown. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
You better get on the road, you're on.
Yeah.